What's going on, good people? It's your brother, your uncle, your favorite realtor's favorite realtor. You are new to the channel. My name is Marvin. I consider myself your brother, your uncle, your favorite realtor's favorite realtor. And every single week, I drop content that is geared to help you, whether you are a brand new real estate agent, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you just got your license and you have no earthly idea what to do next. I feel you. I've been there. So my goal, let me say it like this, is to show you a different way of looking at your business, coming from a guy that's got over 25 years in sales, broken multiple sales records in different industries, and have already done several $1 million worth of real estate. And if you know that I have recently made a pivot at the end of Q4 last year. I moved my business from eXp Realty, where I was for coming up on 3 years, over to Real Brokerage. And several of you have reached out wanting to know why I made the pivot, asking me some really good questions that I talk about some aspect of Real Broker and why you may want to look under the hood like I did, which was not my intent, but they had a thing that they said at my previous brokerage that once you see it, you can't unsee it. So in this presentation here, we're going to talk about how to achieve your purpose and build an authentic real estate business. In real estate, when we're dealing with buyer and seller clients, they can smell whether we are being honest with them, a good buyer or a good seller. They can smell when we are being salesy. And I thought this was really dope. I've heard this the other day, that sellers sell based on logic, buyers buy based on emotion. So when I'm talking to you, I'm hoping that not only the logical part of your brain is operating, but the emotional part of your brain is operating as well. Because I know depending on how long or how dug in you are to your particular brokerage, it could be very difficult to be thinking about moving your business elsewhere, especially if you are worried about hurting your team leaders' feelings, your sponsors' feelings. I wasn't worried about any of that when it came down to it. And I actually looked at the opportunity for what it was, because at the end of the day, I'm only concerned about making sure that my family, the people that depend on me, are in the best position to win. And I'm excited to talk about an opportunity here within Real Brokerage that if something, heaven forbid, happened to me, my wife doesn't have to go and get her real estate license in order to benefit from all the work that I've been doing, which is what other places that offer what's called revenue share. The person who is, if anything, heaven forbid, happens to you, in order for the person to collect on the revenue share you've built up for your entire career by helping other agents win, that person has to go get their real estate license. And if something happened to me, that's going to be the last thing my wife would be concerned about. So I love that Real Brokerage doesn't require you to do that. Your family can enjoy the work that you have put in simply by just being named as a beneficiary in your will for that. So that's super dope. But here at Real Brokerage, we were founded in 2014. We are in 50 states and 4 provinces, including in Canada. We are at over 15,000 agents. If you follow at Real Brokerage, they have made that official announcement that we're over 15,000 agents. And just for perspective, Real Brokerage started in 2014. I think they started at around 1,500 agents. And in less than 10 years, they've almost 10x'd. So I think that that's very amazing, and something that you want to look at, because growth it was better to have invested in Amazon and Google at their infancy versus right now, right? We all kind of know that, so I feel like being here at Real Brokerage has been probably what working at a place like Google is probably like. That's my thought process on it, because it's just a very tech focused company, and it's been an amazing ride. They have closed since 2022, 37,500 closed transactions and $381 million in revenue. The stock is NASDAQ listed, so that's very important, because it's not too many companies offer company stock, and you definitely want to make sure, if you're going to be participating in it, investing in it, or whatever, you want to make sure that it's publicly traded. So there are other brokerages out there that offer their agent stock, but many of them, with the exception of the big ones, are not publicly traded. So that's something to be aware of, because what that means is it doesn't matter if you're gifted $1 million worth of stock. If you can't sell it anywhere, what good is it as far as the paper that it's on? What they do here is they offer several different benefits here. You're able to keep more of your commission with a very generous split and a low cap. Now here at Real Brokerage, the split is 85-15, meaning you keep, as a brand new agent or a multi-million-dollar capping agent, you keep 85% of your commission. Real gets 15. And once that 15% equals $12,000, which you'll do in no time, that's literally just $2 million-ish worth of real estate. So depending on your market, you probably might cap in one deal. But the fact that you get, once you have met that obligation, you will be a 100% commission employee or agent, for the rest of that year. So that's very, very powerful. And I think another thing that's important to keep in mind with this model is there are other places that offer, 80-20, 70-30, 60-40 in some cases. I would hope no one is currently paying a 60-40 split, but being able to keep more of your money is really going to be the name of the game in the world that we live in, especially as our industry continues to shift and changes potentially happening to buyers' commission may come in play. That's just something that you're going to want to make sure, at least while, as they say, the getting is good, that you are able to make as much money as you can from the hard work that you put in. Second thing is that you have the ability to build wealth, build ownership in Real through various stock plans. We'll talk about that later on. State-of-the-art technology. Here at Real, we use a proprietary software called Reason, and it is awesome. It is very AI focused. It's a one-stop shop. So your transaction management, questions that you might have for your broker or other agents, being able to track your revenue share, which is super key. Other places you have to go to like several different apps to be able to find various things, but everything is automatically done for you within the Reason app, and I think that's very powerful. And training and education. Over 200 hours of training are offered on a weekly basis here. All of our trainings are done through Zoom, which I think is very important because Zoom allows for a level of intimacy and the ability to ask questions in real time versus listening to a recording of a person or a VHS or DVD of a person, giving training advice. Being able to be taught by your colleagues that are also high-performing agents is just going to be super, super key in the world that we're shifting into. And then, of course, revenue share. As you are watching this video, hopefully you are considering Real Brokerage. And if you would give me the honor to talk about why I moved my practice to Real Brokerage and gave up a lot of money in the form of revenue share and stock and all that stuff. But again, once you see an opportunity that's a true golden opportunity, you can't unsee it. So it was what it was. But if you would like to make that pivot and you decide that you'd like me to be your sponsor or co-sponsor, well, now you would be participating and I would be celebrating your success as well, compensated from the portion of the 85-15 that Real gets. So no money out of your pocket directly. I would be compensated as your sponsor directly from Real, and that's what revenue share is. This model is not a brand new model. Other places like EXP and other places offer it. Originally, it is an innovation of what's called profit sharing, which is the form that places like Keller Williams was utilizing, where they would pay a profit to their agents if there was a profit share to agents if there was a profit. So unfortunately, individuals that were doing quite a bit of work helping share the benefits of joining Keller and those places that offered it, at the end of the day, those agents were not seeing that benefit. So the revenue share model, again, this was led by EXP, but we're different here at Real in a couple ways that I'll talk about that are more advantageous to the agent. That model is definitely still here. You also have a supportive community of thousands of agents. Anytime I have a question, I just pop into our workplace and I'm able to get my questions answered in real time. And I think that that's very, very powerful. Moving right along here. And again, we're just going to talk about a few segments of this presentation. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below. And I'm going to move on here to another segment of this conversation that I think a lot of agents need to know, because I think it's very, very important. And that is, what are the fees and how do they all break down? And I think that's super, super key. As I mentioned, here at Real Brokerage, it's an 85-15 split. There are no monthly fees. Now you might say, Marvin, are you sure about that? There's got to be some kind of fees monthly. No monthly fees. When I was at EXP, I paid $85 a month, whether I had a sale or not. If I had to take time off because I was sick, or if I had to take time off away for personal reasons, that $85 was coming out, rain, sleet, hail, snow. So, which for me, it wasn't such a big deal because I'm a producing agent, but I'm also a team lead. So many of the agents on my team have yet to have their first deal. And so that $85 having to come out, rain, sleet, hail, snow, and you hadn't had a deal, unfortunately, it can be very, very discouraging. So here at Real, no monthly fees. Now to join Real, it's a $249 joining fee. And that joining fee is a one-time fee. Once you've paid it, you paid it. And there is a $750 annual fee, which I'm noticing, and it's paid from your first 3 transactions as indicated here. And I'm noticing a lot more agents prefer an annual fee, meaning that they are only paying a commission when they have a sale, and that's only on they're only paying a fee to the brokerage, I apologize, when they have a sale. So if you have 3 sales, or let's say you only have 2 sales in a given year, that $750 annual fee is divided by 3. So it's $250, $250, $250. And once, if you only have 2 sales, then you would have only paid that $250 twice. That's it. If you don't have any more sales that year, you're not on the hook for that remaining balance or anything like that. You only pay when you have a transaction on your first 3 transactions. You also pay once you have capped, or once you have met the requirements where that $12,000, which is the 15 out of the 85-15, has been paid to Real. Now the only fees that you pay are a $285 transaction fee after you've capped, and then a $125 lease transaction fee after you cap. Okay, so that's very, very important to keep in mind. So that's all you pay per transaction. So you get to keep, 99.7 of it. Now, for those of you that have asked about E&O, Real has a $30 BOP fee, and that stands for is broker review and E&O. So it's encompassing of both broker review and E&O. That is paid per transaction. And the great thing about that is that it does cover your broker review, it covers your E&O, it covers insurance, it covers processing. So that's super, super key. And you do have the ability, again, to, once you do hit what's called elite status, your transaction fees drop to $129 once you've hit elite status. And we'll talk about what elite status is, which is several transactions after you hit your cap. Once you're really crushing it in your business, then that's an additional savings that you get as a Real agent, which is, again, most places, they don't do that. They just kind of tell you, you pay these fees, it's the cost of doing business. And if you are a team, again, the splits are very advantageous. If you are a team, 12K leader cap, 6K member cap, meaning that this is the most that your team members will pay if you are a traditional team and you join Real Brokerage. We have so many teams that are here because the economics were just better here at Real compared to other places where their team members were paying, again, those monthly fees in addition to the splits, in addition to the cap. So this is this is amazing. Now, of course, here this is the segment talking about how you can build wealth through the Real stock. There's a couple different ways that you can purchase stock here before you cap. If you decide to participate in this, you're not obligated to do it. But if you'd like to participate in the stock purchase plan, then the breakdown of how it's paid is as follows. And we can talk about that in more detail if you'd like to book a call. Once you've capped, this is what you get here. You get 150 shares. Once you've capped as a solo agent, if you are on a team, then this is what your cap is, of course, as the member. And this is the amount of shares that you get once you cap. And if you attract any additional agents, as part of your organization, then these are the various shares that you get for attracting agents. Now, if you have a passion for teaching, Real gives you the ability to do that once you have become an elite agent. And there's some additional qualifiers. If you decide to teach a class here, because the majority of classes here at Real are taught by producing agents. So that's the difference with Real compared to EXP, is that you have to be a producing agent in order to benefit from the revenue share. So we don't have individuals that are simply recruiters joining and trying to get people to come over here. And that's done intentionally to protect the culture of Real Brokerage, because unfortunately that is the stigma for other brokerages, is that it's just a bunch of recruiters that are there and no one is really producing any business. So the part that I'm very, very excited about here, and I just talked about it at the beginning, is Willable RevShare. So I already have quite a few agents that have decided to make the leap here to Real Brokerage, and I'm humbled by that. And for me, we're just building this thing out. We're going to keep building, keep adding value, because, the model sells itself. Agents want more equity. Agents want more ownership. Agents want to have a seat at the table. That's just what it is. We're not doing the pat on the back anymore for closing multiple millions of dollars of business. We're not doing the janky splits because it's a franchise model and it just kind of is what it is. It ain't what it ain't anymore. And again, having a company that values the agent so much that if anything, heaven forbid, happened to that agent, their family is protected. I think that's a game changer, because as I mentioned, at the other brokerage, as I mentioned, that I came from, EXP, if I had a bunch of agents that I was partnered with, business partners with, and they were part of my revenue organization, if something, heaven forbid, happened to me, my wife and our daughter would have to go and get their real estate license in order to continue to receive that income that's generated. And my wife and I love real estate, and she's working on her real estate license, but let's just say that doesn't happen. That means for all the hard work that I'm doing, if I were still at my previous brokerage, it would be gone if anything, heaven forbid, happened to me. So as a guy that has a financial planning background, I'm always thinking about how to make sure my family is protected if anything were to happen to me. So the fact that now here at Real Brokerage, they have a Willable RevShare program, and I'm just going to read it verbatim, but Real's Willable RevShare program was launched early 2023 and offers the ability to provide for your loved ones by designating a beneficiary to receive your revenue share participation in the event of your passing. That's powerful. I mean, that's incredibly powerful. There's no in the event of your passing if they go and get their real estate license. There's none of that, because again, as a guy that's dealt with this kind of stuff from a financial planning standpoint, it's already a stressful time if and when we lose a loved one. It's an incredibly stressful time. And the last thing you're going to want to hear when you're trying to get that person who's passed affairs in order, trying to see what was what and what was out there, is that, sorry, you can't benefit from this thousands of dollars that person was generating because they were adding value to so many other real estate agents, that if something happened to that person, let's say I can't sell houses anymore and then pass. Well, now that money, if I were anywhere else, it'd be completely gone. And that's just, for me, very uncomfortable, and just another big reason why pivoting over here to Real Brokerage was a no-brainer, aside from all the economics. So if that's something that's important to you, making sure that your family is in the right position if something, heaven forbid, were to happen to you, this right here alone, the Willable RevShare, is more than enough of a reason to see the value in making the pivot. All right, so we're gonna move right along here. So I want to talk about the state-of-the-art technology here, and then I'm going to wrap for today. I just want to kind of sit on the state-of-the-art technology for a moment. Now, here at Real Brokerage, the technology here, it is second to none. Now, the great thing about being here is that the technology is 90% of our technology here is proprietary. And what that means is, I'm just trying to pull up something else for you guys here. 90% of that, our technology here is proprietary. And I think what most individuals don't realize is that when something is proprietary, that means you own it. No one can take it from you. If a business that's tied to my business goes out of business, and that was a business that I relied on, I'm going to be in big trouble if that was something that I relied on. So I think that it's very, very important to be vertically integrated as a business. And Real has done exactly that. And that's, that's amazing. I mean, truly, truly, truly is amazing. So we have a program here called Reason, which is what we personally use for all of our stuff, transactions, listing information. We have something called a wealth plan, which I'll talk about here. I'm just trying to see if I can switch it to demo mode here, just because I got some personal information here on this. Let me see if I can switch this to demo mode. Hold on. Let me see if I can do that. And then I'm going to share it. But this is amazing to be able to have a one-stop shop in the form of a company that, again, at my other places that I've been, if I had a question about transactions, I had to go to one place. If I had a question about an agent, I had to go to another place. If I had a question for my broker, I had to go to another place. And I think that can get to be very, very, a little frustrating after some time, right? So Real has eliminated all of that, and that's a complete game changer. And I think that more agents, we're looking for simplicity in our lives. We're looking for the ability to move at scale, do things at scale, and Real provides exactly that. So this is the Reason app here. So this is just showing a little bit about here in Georgia. We have two brokers here, Steve Freeman and Kimberly McGee. It's showing a little bit of information on the brokerage itself, as far as for your checks, your commission checks, how to get that done, how to get that taken care of. That's super dope that that's all here in one place. The Real Academy is here. Let me see if I can pull this up. This is also baked into Reason, the app that we use as our hub. And the trainings that are offered here, again, amazing trainings. And even if you aren't able to make the trainings live, you can always come into the Academy and look at the replay for all of these trainings. The trainings here compared to other places, it's been second to none. Other places that I've been to, that I've worked at, the trainings were very, very archaic. They were kind of talking at you versus talking to you. And I think that agents now are looking for a situation where they're talking to a real person, and you see the plug that I did there, a real person. And here's our marketing center here. I want to show that to you guys as well. The marketing center is where you'll get all of your Real swag, your logos, all that jazz. And just look at the logo. I just want to sit on this right quick. The logo looks awesome. That's another thing that really was intriguing about this company. The logo looks amazing, but all of the brand elements, social media shareables, if we were to click on one of these social media shareables here, it shows here some of the things that you can do. You can customize all that jazz. And again, it's all in a one-stop shop in the form of a phone app as well as a desktop app. So again, one last thing that I want to talk about as well is if it's offered in your state, we also offer Real Title. And having the ability to have an in-house title company everywhere in green, by the way, is where Real Title is located. So it is here in Georgia for my Georgia folks. It's in Texas, Florida, a few places. Everywhere that's in dark green is Real Escrow. I think California, you guys in California do something a little different. And then where it's coming soon, as you see, is in blue, and a few other places where they're licensed, but they're not up and running yet. But they're in a lot of key markets, and I think that that's very, very, very amazing. And then we also have our own in-house mortgage company, Real Mortgage, One Real Mortgage. So one of the cool things that you're able to do here at Real is if you have your ML license, your MLO license, you can be compensated, and I don't want to misspeak, but you can be compensated for your transactions and be okay from a compliance standpoint. There's a way that you're able to be compensated indirectly in the form of a referral for any and all business, because in most states you cannot be the lender and the agent on a transaction. But here at One Real Mortgage, you are able to be compensated from the clients that you send to our loan department if you have your MLO license. So again, in a world where we're all concerned about buyer's representation commission and what that's going to happen, if you don't have your MLO license, go ahead and handle your business. That way, if you need to pivot, you're able to do that. And here with Real Brokerage, we put you in the best position possible to be able to be compensated multiple ways. So again, book a call if you are ready to explore that conversation. And I'm going to keep this under 30 minutes. That's all we're going to talk about today, is just a few segments of Real Brokerage. Let me know in the comments below what questions you have about it. I will implore you to book a call with me if you are open to the benefits of making a pivot. Remember, wherever you are the commodity. So you need to be at a place where you are celebrated, not tolerated. And you need to be in the most advantageous place from a split standpoint, a support standpoint, a training standpoint, an everything standpoint, right? Including the ability for my folks that are at EXP, for example, what will you do if something, heaven forbid, were to happen to you and you have built up a significant organization of individuals that you add value to and are able to participate in revenue share if something happens to you and your loved ones don't have their real estate license? I would also ask that to my Keller Williams folks. I know that they have a similar model, but how are you taken care of if something happened to you? How are your family members taken care of? Are they going to have to go get their real estate license? Trust and believe that's going to be the last thing that they're going to be thinking about. And you don't want to have done all of this hard work for not.